Hello!
No, no. Hello and welcome back to my channel.
And
And
mine.
no,
Oh, okay.
no. Oh, you look so cute. I love that ghost. Today, we're going to be talking about social media and how addictive it is and how everyone's wasting their lives on it and what can we do about that. And I haven't planned anything for this, but I just thought that it's an interesting topic. I feel like it's on so many people's minds a lot now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's your initial thought?
I hate social media.
Okay, expand on that.
I was talking about this earlier today already, right? But I was like quite addicted to a few different social medias.
Mm,
So for example, I mean I stopped Twitter now.
yeah.
I basically I deleted every social media from my phone. So I'm almost not going on social media at all anymore. My problem now is like YouTube Shorts. Like it's kind of social media adjacent, I feel like.
How do you think?
Well, like YouTube is also like an expression kind of platform, but then like I don't know, it kind of simulates the social aspect as
Well,
well, right? I mean, they're all competing for attention.
I think maybe, initially these when these apps were called social media, right?
Yeah.
The name was a lot more fitting because
Yes.
everyone was making things. I mean, not everybody, but more people were making things. A lot of people were just posting what they ate for lunch. People were replying to each other, and gradually things have shifted. So it's creator and audience
Yeah.
and parasocial relationships rather than
Yeah.
making friends. And I miss the earlier social media.
I think so too. Yeah. I mean, I think like you can sort of still use it that way, but like people will not really react to it that much, right? I mean, like people have like these private Instagrams.
Mm,
That's sort of like social media. And I think like a lot of stuff is like in private chats now,
yeah.
especially like Discord. I think like YouTube and YouTube Shorts is like social media because like TikTok is social media. And if TikTok is
Yeah.
social media, then surely YouTube Shorts is also
Yeah.
social media,
Yeah.
right? It's this kind of social media that's almost exclusively the consumer one. Which I mean, to be fair, like Twitter was like that for me mostly either, right?
Yeah.
I would just go through and like get like a little hit from a new tweet,
Yeah.
good and or bad.
I think Twitter was one of the worst for me, the worst social media platform because I don't know what it is about short form like text
Yeah.
that I think basically you see the same kind of arguments again and again and they can never go into detail, right? Because of the character
Yeah.
limit.
No, they are really like it's kind of endowing. And
Because one thing I think about a lot is there's certain social media narratives that go around again and again and again, and people absorb them as true when they're not true. So one that I see a lot is women saying the 40-hour work week was not designed for women's bodies. It was designed for men's bodies, and that's why it's hard for us to have like full-time jobs or something like this.
yeah, it's dumb.
This isn't true. The 40-hour work week wasn't designed at all. It was something that, unions fought for because the whole idea of a weekend, that's something that people in the past fought for us to have,
Yeah.
right?
Like they fought so that women didn't have to work 60 hours in sewing factories,
Yeah,
which is what they did before.
yeah,
Everything that we are like, kind of taking for granted, right? Like these idea of 8 hours work, 8 hours leisure, 8 hours sleep. Was
yeah,
was a thing that had to be fought and against like the people who are now selling this as like aren't we very kind and nice to give this to you. It's like,
yeah,
well, you didn't give shit. I'm bringing Cory Doctorow back again to this, right? Because like he kind of makes this point, right? Like the problem is when like workers, when they are treated well, when they have
yeah,
power, they're not thinking about unions. And then
yeah,
when they lose that power, that's when they need them. But like obviously they're not as effective because
yeah.
that's what kind of like these at Google, right? Like the workers for a while had a lot of power, but they were like, treated nice. We were like, we're pals, we love you, we're good. You're like family. You have like, here's a nice canteen. We're going to freeze your eggs for you, that kind of thing.
Okay.
That's what he keeps saying. Like apparently
Okay,
that some
jeez.
companies would do that, right? Because you
Okay.
would work through your most fertile years, and so like we will freeze your eggs for you because we're
God,
really
that's a bit dystopian,
yeah, yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it?
All of this is very dystopian, right? But But now they don't need the tech workers so much,
Yeah.
partly because they tricked everyone into becoming tech workers. People said this 15 years ago, though, right? Like politicians were all like, learn coding, learn coding. It's like,
Yeah.
well, they're going to all lose like their power, right? Like they're not
Yeah.
going to be paid much if everyone does
If everyone
coding,
does,
you know?
yeah.
And this is what we're kind of seeing right now, right? You need a union, basically.
Yeah. So what I think is that there's certain narratives that go on social media and they get an emotional reaction out of people and they're very simple, right?
Mhm.
There's another one lately which is there's people saying that Japan is creating solar powered warming benches so that homeless people can sleep in the winter more comfortably. And people love this kind of story because it's like, look how humane Japan is. They're doing something for homeless people. And so first of all, this is not a thing, right? I mean,
Not generally.
yeah, maybe this is like one town has one bench that's solar powered and it's like a gimmick or something. I've never heard of this, and we live here, right? And secondly, wouldn't the good thing to do to like get these homeless people housing and
Yeah.
get them into some kind of accommodation, not to warm a bench for them? What do you think the solution is to this? Like, how can we make it so that these platforms are more positive for people?
1 hour of internet. Like everyone just gets 1 hour of internet. And the thing is, right? Like this is a bit reactionary, but I do think it would solve a lot of problems.
It's just not. It's just not. No.
I think it would solve it.
Yeah.
And people like the thing is, right? People are like, well, how would we do anything? It's like, well, everyone did everything before the internet without a problem. You'll adjust, it'll be fine. What they always say about like these efficiency gains, which like technology, like the internet and all this stuff, are visible anywhere but in like the economic data of it or something like that, right? It kind of insinuates that you need it and that it's making you smarter and better or whatever. But I'm sorry, right? Look at anything that anyone has written in the 1920s, in the 1870s, anything anyone has written in that time, smarter than anything ever that is being written right now. No one's smarter. They're all dumber. Every single person is dumber. They are.
I think the short form content is really frying
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah, frying people's attention spans, and it's not good for people.
But like even like articles were like a problem. Like all of this kind of like TV already was a problem. Radio probably was a problem, right?
Yeah.
Like it has made people less able to think and express themselves.
Yeah.
It's hard to compare, right? Like because obviously a lot of the people who could write back then were like, super most well educated. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, right? Like at least the well educated now should be as smart then. Right? And they aren't. That's my point.
Okay.
I couldn't think really for a while.
Yeah.
Like 4 years ago. I couldn't like concentrate anymore.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I do think like before I got like somewhat addicted to social media, right? I would read like articles or Tumblr, right?
Yeah.
And like I had at least that. And I could also read books, right? But then for a while, I think I had shot my brain so much, like maybe even a bit ahead of the curve. Like what's happening now with TikTok brains, that I couldn't even read a page anymore. For a while, it was like actually difficult. I had to retrain myself to be able to do that.
I've heard a lot of teachers say that when they teach kids, it's like getting an addict for like an hour, trying to pull them away. And they're just thinking about when they can get the next hit of the internet.
No, I feel that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I mean, I just don't know what the solution is.
1 hour of internet.
No, this is So I think this is an interesting graph. It's the rise of dopamine culture, and they're saying like slow traditional.
Radio is the theater of the mind.
Stop. Okay, I'm gonna explain the graphic. Okay, so it says slow traditional culture, fast modern culture, and then dopamine culture, which is the present, right? So for instance, video, slow traditional culture was film and TV. Then they're saying fast modern culture was video. And I think dopamine culture is reels or short form video, right? Yeah. So communication used to be letters, and then fast modern culture, voice, email, memo, and dopamine culture, short text. I mean, I think what this graphic is trying to get at is that things are getting small. Do you know what I mean? Smaller and faster, right?
Yeah, they are. This is an interesting like framework for it.
Yeah.
The other one is like what they call like this Gutenberg parentheses,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
You know, that's what like Hank Green was talking about. There's a book about it. It's like the end of literacy
Oh God.
and like back to orality.
Yeah.
You know, like we had like a 400, 500, you know, it depends like where you want to draw it, right? Like when people
Yeah.
could actually read for extended periods and they would write things
Oh
down.
God.
What?
I just something that really just freaks me out about thinking about people becoming illiterate. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's interesting, right? Because
like maybe I'm crazy, but everyone being illiterate does not sound like a good thing.
and it's different though, right? Like the way that it's happening now is like in a different way because like what people would do before, right? I mean, obviously there was like writing for a while, which was like a different thing. But before that, there was like this very oral culture. But like people would their memories would be like insane, right?
Yeah.
Like I've been listening to the Iliad in
Yeah.
like this new translation, right?
Yeah.
And I also have been listening to Beowulf, and they're basically both the same thing. They're like these oral poems that use like a lot of tools to make you remember and
Oh, interesting.
to teach you something. Especially the Iliad is like that, right? It's kind of like remember this guy, you know, he's
Yeah.
like famously this is his father, he's like, you know, and there's kind of
Yeah.
all of these tools that they would do, and
Yeah.
that takes a shitload of brain power, right?
Yeah.
But at least they did that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's kind of like just our minds adapt to what is necessary.
Exactly.
Right? What is necessary for us to live. Now, it's just not necessary for
No.
people to concentrate on long pieces of text anymore, right? In modern life, there's not many people who need to do that anymore.
But like here's the thing, right? Like even back then, like it wasn't really necessary, but it is a power.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like obviously like in socialist circles, right?
Yeah.
They will always talk about like this ideal type of the worker who would do their 12-hour shift, not an 8-hour, but a 12-hour shift, you know?
Yeah.
And then go to like a book discussion or like, you know,
Yeah.
to a union talk about like to get educated about something,
Yeah.
you know? And now, like, I mean, obviously radio, TV were already these things. Now we have like this kind of slop. Like
Yeah.
there's like this kind of brainless slop. And like people are kind of saying it's like, well, I'm so tired after work or whatever. And it's like, but it's also training though.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I just feel bad because it's when I talk to people who, you know, are really highly educated, right?
Yeah.
They don't use these things.
No.
They're not on, you know,
I mean,
Twitter, on YouTube. They're not on anything.
None of the people who make this shit like let their children do it.
Yeah.
You know?
And I just think the problem is that their ideas then can't be spread en masse, right? They're, you know, obviously they're saving their own mind, but maybe it would be better for everyone if they were on these platforms. Scientists, researchers, these are the people whose ideas need to spread the most.
Yeah.
But they spread the least, and they realize these platforms are really bad and they're not on them. And everyone else is getting, you know, these really simple ideas and misinformation. So what's the solution? So yeah, online conspiracy theories seem to thrive. And how do you get around that? How do you get it so that reliable people, experts, people who are, you know...
I mean, it's difficult. Like, do you think they're much bigger than they were before? Because
Conspiracy theories?
yeah, that's what I'm
They're
wondering.
huge. It's mainstream now. This is
Yeah, but they were mainstream before. It's my point, right? Like, I
Not
feel like
like
a lot of
this.
people thought this kind of stuff probably anyways.
I think a lot of people did, but I think it's getting much worse. I think, you know, now... So in the past, there'd be more people getting news from articles from TV, and they would interview experts. They would have experts in debates, right?
Yeah.
There's no expert voice in social media. There's none.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's all about trusting individual people. You can't really tell who's an expert and who isn't. You know, I think about this all the time with like people who are giving financial advice, people who are giving medical advice. They can just lie. Anyone can just
Yeah.
go on and lie, and a lot of people trust it if it
But-
sounds plausible.
Yeah. No, definitely. Like, it's more about confidence in that case.
Yeah.
But I do think, again, right? Like, I do think, like, the government really fucked itself up there. Especially, like, during Corona, for example, right? Like, a
Yeah.
lot of people lost faith during that time. There are things that you can point at where, like, you know, the reactions that, like, particularly governments had
Yeah.
were, like, either very authoritarian
Mm.
or they were, like, trying to be, like, mind controlling. and like kind of in a lying way, rather than like where things were like 60-40, they were
Yeah.
like, this is 100%. This is
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
This is, everyone agrees with this. And
Yeah.
then once or twice, they would switch around, because they like it turned around. The 60-40 turned around to 40-60.
So
And
now
so the
they're gonna
government is
say
like,
the opposite message.
yeah, and they have to be
The-
like, this is 100%.
But the problem is
You know?
that everyone's in a situation where they have to have a clear message.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You can't tell people, hey, this method for reducing the virus has a certain percentage, so everyone should do
Well,
this.
that's
They
what they
need a
think.
rule.
You need a rule, but you can also be like, very honest about it. And I mean,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
all of this information was out there,
Yeah.
obviously, right? Like, you could find it, but it's about like how it was communicated a lot of the
Mm.
time, which I think was subpar in a lot of places.
Yeah. I mean, also, Corona just forced a lot of people to be online
Yeah.
a lot more, which had, a really negative effect, and more people were getting addicted to social media and so on.
Yeah. And I mean, I do think this is the other thing too, right? Like, sometimes, like, who gets to decide who the expert is can be very powerful.
Yeah, definitely.
And because it's like sometimes it was the wrong people to someone, they completely checked out. They're like, well, I won't trust anything anymore.
Yeah.
It's got controversial, huh?
Yeah. We kind of lost the plot a little bit. Like, this is going to be about social media.
Oh yeah, what do you think about social media?
I don't really know what the solution is. I think it just needs to be regulated. I think there needs to be some kind of option. Well, China is doing something now where if you're a financial advisor or a doctor or something like that on social media, you need to have some kind of qualification of proof that you really are you are qualified to give the kind of advice or to talk about what you're talking about with authority, and then they'll give you some kind of button on your profile, which I think is a step up. It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
What I would like to see, there's certain things which I think outright really need to be heavily regulated or even outright banned, which is things like plastic surgery advertising, right?
Yeah, that's bad.
I mean, that just shouldn't, especially let's say children using this app,
Yeah.
that shouldn't be able to come up. Like, that's just really obviously wrong, right? Especially because a lot of these before and afters, they're completely misleading, they're photoshopped, they're taking different lighting in each photo. People are getting really unrealistic expectations of how people look. And yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. So maybe we'll come back to the topic of social media. I think it's an interesting one.
Maybe we should, in the future, we could make like the topic a little bit more narrow.
Yeah.
Like, it could be social media, but a specific aspect of it. Advertising on social media.
Well, I was thinking that the topic was, how much time people are spending on social media.
Should have told me.
Okay. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.